Hello and welcome back to Big Mouth and welcome to the Big Daily. I hope you're all doing very well. May the 4th be with you. Today is Star Wars Day. Even though Disney, the owners of the IP, don't release anything on May the 4th anymore, I'm saying May the 4th be with you. Everything Star Wars, or at least one film a year, should be released on May the 4th, right? Anyway, today we're going to be sharing our memories of Star Wars, our favourite memories. I'm here to celebrate George Lucas. I'm here to celebrate his 6 movies and his genius, and Dave Filoni's animation. I don't care about the sequel trilogy. I don't care about what Disney has done. If you want to discuss it in the comments, I'll talk about it. But that's not what I'm celebrating. Because as far as I'm concerned, there is nothing to celebrate. And where's my water gone? That's a good start, isn't it? Right, hang on a minute. Come and say hi if you want. Yeah, so we're celebrating Star Wars today. My favourite Star Wars moment of all time is when Obi-Wan sacrifices himself to Vader in front of Luke. It's such an amazing moment. It really is. It's just one of those moments. It's so emotional. And Williams' music. Na, 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 na. And then boom. No! It's so emotional. Run, Luke, run. It's such a great moment. And Star Wars is just such a great thing. And for me, the original trilogy is about escapism and entertainment and fun. But the prequels are about world building. That's what people didn't understand. I remember leaving The Phantom Menace and people saying, well, there's not even a Han Solo type of character. Well, no shit, Sherlock. The Phantom Menace is a great world builder. It sets everything up. You've got this vicious dictator who's right there, visibly there as a friend. And he's so smart. Even when they give him, you know what? The prequels kind of remind me of what's happened with COVID around the world. So, all these prime ministers and presidents have been given overall power, like what Jar Jar does with Palpatine in Attack of the Clones. When this threat is over, I will give those powers back. You didn't, did you? And probably none of these world leaders will. Anyway, it's very kind of reminiscent of Brexit, isn't it, in a way? And, all those promises made and none of those promises will ever be delivered. It's all about power, isn't it? And George Lucas was a pioneer. What George Lucas did with Star Wars is part of the American dream. A young storyteller at film school. That was a moment of change in Hollywood because companies, the studios were owned by breweries and things like that. And they were admitting themselves they knew nothing about making films, but they wanted to make films for young people. So they brought in young directors like Coppola, like George Lucas, like Steven Spielberg, and they gave them total control on what they were doing. And it worked. What George Lucas did with Star Wars was, to have something like that with these effects. I mean, he broke ground. His films looked sensational. But his films just didn't look sensational. His films, made sense. It's all very well having stuff that looks good. I mean, most films today look good. Doesn't make them good movies, right? But what George Lucas did was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so basically we're celebrating Star Wars today. And if you've got anything to say about Star Wars in the comments, I'll get back to you. But if you want to talk about the DCEU, please do. It looks like many people don't want to talk about Star Wars because they keep on leaving the live stream, which is unfortunate. But this video will go out whenever. People will want to watch this later on, maybe. And so I am going to continue to celebrate Star Wars today. So I think I love A New Hope. The reason I love A New Hope is because it's kind of an open-ended story, but it's also something that's set up to continue. But if it's not a successful movie, A New Hope can just be a one-off movie. This was very clever by Lucas because at the time it did look like a one-off adventure, but then he continued it because it was so successful. And of course, movie making and movie viewing was very different when A New Hope was launched. There was no Twitter, there was no Instagram, there was no YouTube, right? The only way you could communicate with filmmakers is by writing to them. And of course, people used to send them telegrams, faxes. It was a very good, strong relationship. Where now things have become more toxic between creatives and fans and consumers, and everyone has a voice. And when everyone has a voice, things get very, very loud, of course. And we saw what happened with The Last Jedi. But I'm here to celebrate Star Wars, not to be negative about Star Wars. So I think you could say the original trilogy was pure escapism, and the prequels were telling a story. Now, I, myself, am a big fan of the prequels. I don't know what the hatred was for Jar Jar Binks, for example, who was put in there for children. And a lot of children who are older now talk to the actor who played Jar Jar and have a lot of respect for him. And I think that's quite right too. I liked Jar Jar. Now, it wouldn't have mattered to hate the prequels because they weren't the original trilogy. They had a different mentality, a mentality of world building, telling a story of how a dictator garners power by manipulation. It happens, basically. Lucas was predicting the future, wasn't it? And it's just an amazing story from episode 1, The Phantom Menace, to the Return of the Jedi. Should Star Wars have ended? Well, Lucas originally had another 3 movie plan, 7, 8, and 9, which we will never see unless a miracle happens, which is very sad. So the 7, 8, and 9 that Disney gave us wasn't what we were going to see from George Lucas. And that's a shame. I've even written some things to how episode 7 would have been from my point of view. And it's Luke Skywalker in his Jedi temple, training Padawans. And all of a sudden, this new alien force invades the Republic, or whatever it's called in that time, right? And then there's there's a new war, something fresh, meeting new worlds, meeting new civilizations. It sounds like a lead into a Star Trek TV series, doesn't it? But that kind of thing, a bit fresh, a bit interesting. These Padawans, all of a sudden they're Padawans, and then they have to get involved in the fight. That would have been an awesome story. And Luke Skywalker, front and center, just because he's old, they didn't want to do much with him. J.J. Abrams saying to us, who's Luke Skywalker? You literally had him for about a minute in the end of The Force Awakens, which was a disgrace. In terms of Han Solo being killed off, that was literally Harrison Ford's idea. That's what he wanted for the original trilogy. He didn't really want to come back, so that was down to Harrison. It was a good death. Kylo Ren killing his father, very, very compelling. So that was a compelling moment. I think The Force Awakens isn't a bad film, by the way. It just needed the helmer, J.J. Abrams, certainly to be involved in the middle movie. Because why would you get someone new? Why would you get someone new when you just set up all these things? And the person helming the middle movie burns down all the stuff that you've built up. So it really doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, let's not be negative. Let's celebrate Star Wars today. And I'd love to know your favourite Star Wars movies, your favourite animation maybe, and what you're looking forward to. Are you looking forward to Bad Batch? I certainly am. But Star Wars really, under George Lucas, is an adventure. It's basically a story of human beings in space. Now, he doesn't allude to how human beings were in space, because this is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But those people who look like us, like Luke and Leia and Han, are human beings. That's a fact. So Lucas, in fact, is saying a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, human beings lived. That's an interesting kind of narrative, if you ask me. It's not really looked upon, but maybe someone doing new Star Wars could do something about that, because I think that would be awesome. If you've got an imagination, you can do anything. So I think A New Hope is my favourite from his original trilogy. I think it's great. As I say, it's a pure adventure story. Empire is a bit like The Dark Knight. I prefer Batman Begins to The Dark Knight. Batman Begins isn't a particularly popular movie. I think it's the better movie. And I think A New Hope is the best movie, but everyone loves Empire. French the Baby, may the fourth be with you. Thank you, my friend, and may the fourth be with you. Star Wars fans getting together, talking about what they love about Star Wars instead of what they hate. What a great thing that George Lucas created. And if it was possible, I would shake George by the hands. What an amazing guy. What an amazing franchise. You can spin on my middle finger, MCU fans, because you ain't never doing better than Star Wars. I don't care about your Rotten Tomatoes scores. I don't care about your box office. Star Wars is better than your silly little franchise. End of story. You can stat pad as much as you want. Star Wars will always mean more to people than the MCU. No, you can compare it to the sequel trilogy. The sequel trilogy's pants, I don't care. I'm talking about what George Lucas did. George Lucas gave us 6 awesome movies. Has the MCU ever done anything as emotional as Anakin versus Obi-Wan in Revenge of the Sith? One of my favorite Star Wars movies. At the end, when he's just about to defeat Anakin. You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you. An amazing moment. How can you say you hate the prequels when there's something like that in those prequels? French the Baby. I like MCU too, but your Star Wars is amazing. Yeah. Star Wars is amazing. Yeah, I don't mind the MCU. Sometimes I just get annoyed about all the, it's like the MCU is the best thing ever made in film. It does what it's supposed to do. It's a forgettable, awesome, line of movies to please people. While you're watching an MCU film, it's awesome, but then you forget about it afterwards. But it does what it's supposed to do. It's not overcomplicated. It's not overly serious. It works for kids. It works for adults. It's a great franchise, don't get me wrong. But I don't think in terms of film, it comes anywhere near anything that I grew up with in the 80s or even the 90s or even the early noughties. That's just my opinion, by the way. But yeah, Star Wars, just amazing. And Star Wars is telling a deeper, darker story about how power can manipulate light and totally eclipse the light. It's like what Yoda says. Hate leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. That's such a great line by Lucas, right? Jealousy, wanting to prolong life when it's over. French the Baby, sequel trilogy so bad. Lucas stuff, yeah, absolutely. Lucas stuff is amazing. The sequel, look, should I tell you what the sequel trilogy basically proves? That modern creatives are not very talented, and people from the era that I grew up with, the 80s, right, maybe even the 90s, were more talented, because talented people got work in Hollywood back then. It wasn't about what you identified as, right? I'm here to make the best superhero movie for blah, blah, blah people. I don't care how you identify. I don't care where you're from. Give me entertainment. Give me the best. Let me escape from my dreary real world, and I love you. If you're only there because of what you identify as, get out of my industry. Now, I don't care. I don't want you. Don't care. I don't care, Brie, that you're a woman and you're strong. Don't give a lot. Don't give a toss. Go away. Go away. Right? Don't care what you think about men. Go away. If Brie Larson kept her gob shut, actually her movie wasn't that bad. French the Baby. Only thing better about the sequel trilogy is the CGI lull. But you know what? I think the stuff in Revenge of the Sith and some of the stuff in Attack of the Clones is pretty awesome. Even the first movie's got pretty good CG. Yeah, but good CG without a good story, without a good film, what's the point? The Star Wars sequel trilogy's got the Star Wars sequel trilogy's got better CGI than Smallville. What would I rather watch? Smallville. That's my opinion, of course, as a DC fan. French the Baby, for their time, yeah. They can only do what they can do at that time. But his original trilogy didn't even need CG. Imagine he was putting things in the camera. Amazing. Like Dick Donner did with Superman, French the Baby. It was amazing. And, by the way, George Lucas could make a great film without special effects. He was just a great storyteller. It's like what we talk about Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder is a modern-day director who uses CGI like a paintbrush. Take CGI away from Zack Snyder. What can he do? Can he make a great movie without great CGI? Think about that. French the Baby, but The Mandalorian is very good. I love The Mandalorian. I'm very excited about Kevin Feige and Jon Favreau's Star Wars shared universe that's going to be on Disney Plus. The Mandalorian, all this stuff that they're setting up is brilliant. And obviously, the Obi-Wan miniseries is going to be, we have got Hayden back. We're reuniting Hayden Christensen and Hayden Christensen and what's his name? Ewan McGregor, that's it, not very good with names, but reuniting these two lads who had a great spirit together. I remember the old videos of them practicing to saber duel and all that. Brilliant. I've still got those videos somewhere. Who remembers that musical journey they did? It was a little disc that you could get before Revenge of the Sith. It was awesome. Lit. Yes, my friend. Lit. So Star Wars to me means a lot. Now, I don't have ownership over Star Wars. Nobody does. I can't dictate to modern creatives what you do with it. You didn't destroy my childhood. You didn't. You know why you didn't destroy my childhood? Because my childhood's in hard copy, in physical media in my cupboard. You can never take it away from me. So make your crap. Make your shit. Say you're all about representation and inclusion. I don't care. You can never take away the superior art form of George Lucas. Can't wait for Obi versus Vader Part 2. It's going to be amazing. Let's hope these nut jobs have nothing to do with it, and it should be awesome. It's great to get these two lads back together. And I know it's just a one-off miniseries. I hope we can see more of them. And I would actually like Darth Vader to come back full time. He's such a great character. And you can actually have the Darth Vader adventures from when he was in power. We've not really seen that properly. Just have Darth Vader front and center. Obviously, the guy who did the voice for Darth isn't getting any younger, and you can tell he's really old. But there's lots of great impersonators of that voice as well. So, yeah, that's going to be awesome. Lots of exciting stuff to come. I don't think anything they do, bless them, will ever be as good as what George Lucas did and what Dave Filoni's done and is doing with animation. Disney effed up the films, but so far the shows have been good. So, yeah, the shows have been good, but let's be clear here. Nothing on the level of what Lucas did in 6 movies. But, yes, very good, because these are limited creatives. The creatives that are around us now are not got the talent that the people we grew up with did, or who I grew up with did. That's just my opinion, of course. True. French the baby, true, yeah. Well, thanks for agreeing. You don't have to agree, of course. This is a democracy. This is not a dictatorship. This is not Emperor Palpatine. Even though I'm wearing black, I'm not part of the dark side of the Force. But yes, I think it's my opinion, it's my truth, not a universal truth. I must always say that. Tom Ross, favourite Star Wars character? Do you know what? I loved Obi-Wan Kenobi in Revenge of the Sith, or Palpatine, because I love evil characters. He was quite good. I mean, as a kid, it was Luke Skywalker all day, because basically Luke could have been me, Luke could have been you, working on a farm, his parents dying, leaving his everyday normal gritty life and going out into space for the adventure of a lifetime. Fett en Maul, Darth Maul, Darth Maul. Why is everyone obsessed with Boba Fett? Although Mandalorian did a great version of him. Hey there, Mickey. It's my mate's Liam's birthday. Can you wish him a good one? Happy birthday, Liam. Have a good day. Drink loads of beer. Have loads of sex. French the baby or Plagueis? Well, have we actually met Darth Plagueis before? I don't think we've met Darth. French the baby. Wait, is Plagueis canon? Of course, yeah, definitely. Well, as far as I'm concerned, anything George Lucas did is canon. Now, it might not be as far as Disney are concerned, but as far as I'm concerned, Darth Plagueis is canon, and I want to see Palpatine and Plagueis together in a story, and then ultimately see Palpatine kill Darth Plagueis. How amazing would that be? So, yeah, there's lots of things you can do with Star Wars. It's a space thing. We haven't discovered new planets yet. Let's discover the new planets. No, it was Legends, though, wasn't it? No, it was, yes, I know, but if something's good, oh, right, okay, fair enough, but why not? It's a good concept, isn't it? So why don't we make it canon? Look, if there's a Star Wars comic, everything's canon. And basically anything's canon that you want to be canon. And if you don't want it to be your own canon, it doesn't have to be. It could be somebody else's canon. But let me give you a good example, right? End of Smallville, Clark becomes Superman, rips off his shirt, goes to save people in a fire. Right. Crisis on Infinite Earths decides to change that and say he gave up being Superman because he wanted to be a dad. Pathetic. You totally are saying that's Smallville canon. To me, it's not. To you, it can be, but that will never, ever, ever be canon to me that, Clark's not Superman anymore. And I knew Berlanti was going to do this. And this is why the legend that is Michael Rosenbaum said no to Berlanti. Well done, Michael Rosenbaum. Best Lex ever. Snoke was such a letdown. Do you know what? I was actually intrigued by Snoke, but, why did Rian Johnson kill him off? What was the point? French the Baby, I thought he could be Windu. Who? Who could be Windu? Oh, what? Snoke. And do you remember the theory that said that Finn was kind of an ancestor of Windu, which would have been really cool, but let's not make things cool, right? Yes, Snoke, yeah. Which would have been interesting. But that's what I'm telling you. These people don't have interesting ideas. Isn't it interesting, right? After The Force Awakens, the fans had better theories and ideas than the people actually making the movie. I had an hour conversation with my niece and her father, my brother-in-law, about all the things that could happen in the next film after The Force Awakens. And we were saying, yeah, and that could happen, and this could happen, and this could be connected to this. As soon as we finished watching The Last Jedi, we were underwhelmed because our ideas were so cool. They knew our ideas. If you think something the fans got is good, why not do it? Oh no, we're the creatives. We know much more than the little people, don't we? That's why you keep on losing money, because it's like what Netflix, when ordinary people write story ideas to Netflix, we don't take people's story ideas. Of course not, because we have to pass a DNA test before we can work in the entertainment industry. You know what I mean? French the Baby, do you know that they made up on the way? They didn't even have a script. Yes, that's right. The Last Jedi didn't even have a script. Look, these people are creatively bankrupt. It's staggering that people who have been in the industry for 20, 30 years have no clue. No clue. Why does she bring Rian Johnson in? In fact, if you couldn't, I don't know why JJ didn't write and direct the second one, which makes no sense. Oh, no, not Last Jedi. Which one then? Oh, Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, that's the rumor. I don't know if that's true, but it wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. Listen, as I say, these people are creatively bankrupt. These are politicians working in the industry now, not entertainers, not storytellers. They're just politicians, and they're not interested in entertainment and good storytelling. So they will keep on losing customers, and ultimately someone else in another country will take over from Hollywood. You won't need a DNA test to work in the industry, and better things will come. The destruction of Hollywood would be the best thing. It's going to go bankrupt because these people are nut jobs. This is why I'm celebrating George's Star Wars and Dave Filoni's Star Wars and not their Star Wars. If other people want to celebrate their Star Wars, that's entirely up to them. I'm not going to stop them, and I can't stop them. But at the end of the day, I'm celebrating what means something to me. So, and that's my opinion on that one. Sam Dejan Reviews. Yo, Sam, there should be a Boba Fett movie. Well, they're doing a Boba Fett series, aren't they? And their version of Boba is amazing, right? That guy was hardcore in The Mandalorian. Woo. French the Baby. Well, that is a series soon. Yeah, I think movies in cinemas are kind of, something that I don't know, we'll see less and less of anyway. So as long as you look, basically the streaming stuff are like movies anyway. It's the same production value, same budgets. It makes no difference. Book of Boba Fett, that's right. I'm really looking forward to that. And this is all Feige and Favreau, of course. They're the ones with the good ideas. Why do you think Favreau's involved with Star Wars? Because Feige put him in charge of Star Wars, or at least Star Wars on Disney+. Mostly. I don't think they're involved with the Obi-Wan miniseries. I can't wait for live-action Thrawn. Oh, my God. Don't mess up that character, you nut jobs. He's going to be awesome. He's going to be awesome, right? There's a lot to stuff in the Ahsoka series as well. And my prediction about The Mandalorian season 3, it is going total Game of fucking Thrones. People fighting for the throne, and Mando in the middle of this battle as well. They won't. Yeah, I hope they don't. I hope they don't. I think the creators involved in Disney Plus Star Wars, I think we can trust them for sure. If you remember, yeah, Star Wars Rebels was Disney, but it was still Dave Filoni running that show. That's why it was good. But Disney's people who worked on the sequel trilogy, wasn't Dave Filoni and it wasn't George Lucas. The father of Star Wars was barely allowed on the set. French the baby, yeah. So Star Wars is I mean, I don't even know about the comics and the books or even the games. I've never really ventured into that. I'd like to. French the baby. That's why Mandalorian was good. Absolutely. Because of Dave Filoni. Yeah, Favreau and Filoni make a great team, and it was brilliant of them to work together because they needed to save the franchise. Or people can pretend, oh, why are you fanboys moaning about The Last Jedi? You know nothing about great storytelling, do you? Well, actually, we know a lot more than you do. I want them to bring back Darth Maul. I think they are. I think they will do that because that was the plan in Solo, A Star Wars Story. One of the few good things they did in that film. Actually, Solo, A Star Wars Story isn't a bad film. It's a mediocre movie, but it's not a bad movie. I don't think anything in it's wrong. I think the guy playing young Han Solo is great, but unfortunately, your character was played by Harrison Ford. It isn't going to work, mate. Nobody asked for it. Again, my opinion. So I don't mind the Solo movie. Actually, I think I'd love to see the original People's Solo movie. French the Baby. What are you thinking about French the Baby? Wait, you must. I must what? I don't sleep with people's wives when the husbands know about it. That just doesn't work for me. It's more fun when the husbands don't know. Rogue One is the only good Disney Star Wars movie. Listen, it's okay, but I mean, people were getting excited because we saw like Easter eggs, like the milkshake Luke drank. I mean, ridiculous. The Darth Vader thing at the end was awesome, but you need more, as far as I'm concerned. There was nothing new there. French baby of Star Wars. Wait for the future of Star Wars. Let's see what happens in the future of Star Wars. Listen, I don't think, I mean, look, you know, they bought this IP for what was it, 4 billion or whatever it was, right? And they thought they were going to make ready. They thought it didn't matter what they did with it. People would just come and watch Star Wars. They didn't realize how intelligent Star Wars fans are. And people said, no, we're not interested in what you're doing because you're just interested. You're just politicians. Right? I mean, isn't it funny? You know, John Boyega's the best guy, really, because he admits that they used him, right? They brought him in to say, hey, look, we've got a black person. And what did they do? What did they do with that black person? When the poster went to China, they changed the poster and took the poor guy off the poster. They reduced his character to a side part in The Rise of Skywalker. And what was the whole thing with him and Rose going off from everyone else? You've got an Asian and black character, right? Why can't they be with the white characters? That's more racist than any fans ever said or done ever. This says something about how tone deaf Hollywood are. Cancel the sequel trilogy. You know, well, our mate Doomcock says a lot about that. Listen, I don't believe a word Doomcock says, but I do watch his videos because he's entertaining. But I don't think they'll cancel it. I think they'll do what WB are doing with the DCEU. Let's just say find a way to delete certain things, to rewrite certain things. A bit like what the MCU have done with Loki's death. So there are clever ways. I don't think they'll ever cancel the whole trilogy because studios never admit they were in the wrong. Because they're superior to their customers. You see, they don't understand the element of retail. You make something for your customer that your customer wants to buy. You're not making it for yourself. You know, Coca-Cola don't make Coke for themselves in their factory workers. They make it to make money. That's the idea, right? But these people who can only work in this industry unless they're part of the gangsters community, right, are actually making stuff for themselves rather than the audience, and they're losing money. So that is really funny to me. It's very amusing that these people actually think they can make what they want. And it was like the Charlie's Angels movie. Apparently, we're all sexist pigs for not supporting that movie. Nor did women, by the way. But Lizzie Banks didn't mention that now, did she? You see, this is the problem when you live in a bubble and you don't want anyone to talk, you know, to give you their opinion. It's funny, you know, when when these blue ticks respond to me on Twitter, they respond to me, then they mute me so they can't hear what I say back. It's hilarious, and they do that because they can't handle other opinions, right? They're just a bunch of dictators, and it's really funny. It's like, what was it? Everyone who hated The Last Jedi was a Russian bot. Yeah, of course they are. And I'm an Oxford graduate, and I'm not an Oxford graduate. So very, very funny. But I'm looking forward to good Star Wars, but nothing will ever be as good as what George Lucas gave us. That was special. But Ronnie Dodge, morning, Mick. Happy May the 4th. Happy May the 4th, Ronnie. It's a great day to be alive, celebrating Star Wars. I wonder if I can be bothered to watch any Star Wars today. I know a way they can fix the sequel trilogy. Okay, well, sell it back to George Lucas. No, go on, tell me, French the baby. I'm all ears. But, I mean, listen, I think in a way they can just forget about it and just carry on and make better things. Because in a lot of ways, the sequel trilogy is a dead end anyway. It's done. It's the end of the story. It's very... Oh, French the baby, they can do the Rebels thing where they view the past through the portals. Well, that's something I think Doomcock has kind of said as well, isn't it? French the baby, and change certain aspects. Well, they could do that. It's interesting, yeah. Maybe something has happened and that has to change to solve another problem or something. They could do that. It's very, very interesting what happens in these shows. Look, it's pretty obvious that they can't get rid of Kennedy. That was put in cement by George Lucas before he sold the company to them. So very difficult to get rid of her. But what they have done is reduced her power. I mean, definitely she brought in Patty Jenkins for the Star Wars movie, Rogue Squadron, and she's doing the other things. She's basically got no power, and her projects that are in development may not even happen. Like how Ezra pulled out Ahsoka from dying. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it could. Yeah, that could be a thing for sure. I forgot the aircon on. So yes, there's lots of things they can do, but will they? Will they delete the sequel trilogy? I don't know. I don't look. They may change bits and pieces. Listen, if I was them, I would want to just go back and do that whole thing again. You know how you do it? Get George Lucas to come in and do his 7, 8, and 9. If he's too old to direct it, at least let him be part of the creative situation of it, or the development of it. He can pick his own director. He could finally get Steven Spielberg to direct Star Wars. Steven could do the whole trilogy. That would be interesting as well, because Steven Spielberg was going to direct Return of the Jedi, but something happened with the Directors Union or whatever it is, right? So, because Lucas always didn't have credits, did he? He just had the opening crawl, which was a problem for these associations. But yeah, French the baby. Actually, I think they didn't kill Ahsoka because of all the fan hate they received from the fans after they killed her. Yeah, that's, and it's funny, we're a company that supports strong women, and look what happened there. It's funny. The hypocrisy with these people is ridiculous. You can't kill Ahsoka. You shouldn't be killing Ahsoka. Like, you shouldn't be killing Michael Shannon Zod, because Michael Shannon Zod had so much potential and you just killed the guy off. Ridiculous, stupid. Dumb. Dumb. Forget about the ethics of Superman snapping his neck and killing him. Forget about those ethics. You don't kill off Michael Shannon Zod when the guy has got so much potential. He's literally one of the best superhero live action movie villains of all time, as far as I'm concerned. So actually, I've watched the first episode of Invincible. I finally saw it, and it is very good. I thought the last sequence of that first episode was insane. What a twist. French the Baby, hey, do you know about the What If Marvel show coming out where they see how each movie could be different? Yes, it's animated, isn't it? That is going to be interesting. They should do that with all the Star Wars movies. Yeah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Very controversial. That would cause a lot of conversations. They should probably do that. That's actually a good idea. I'd definitely be up for that. That'd be so cool. There's definitely ways you can fix things because obviously Star Wars fans spoke out. Some people had good logical arguments about The Last Jedi. Some people were just boring, talking about politics. To me, it was just an underwhelming movie. And what they did with Luke was ridiculous. You know, that guy should be in a string of movies called Star Wars Legends or something, that guy Mark Hamill's been carrying Star Wars on his shoulders ever since, he's been making Star Wars, been in Star Wars. And I mean, it was interesting. He stirred up all the hate for The Last Jedi as well. He was coming out literally saying, this is not the same. This is not the Luke Skywalker I remember. Listen, I understand what Rian Johnson was saying. This guy is older now. He's been through some shit. He's bitter. He's got no fight in him. The problem is, as logical as that is, it's not what people wanted to see. And in a commercial business, you don't have to listen to the public all the time. But I think Luke Skywalker was a no-go area to mess around with. People envisioned him being this great leader, being this great Jedi in the future. And you took that away, and he was drinking this alien goo or off a breast or whatever he was doing. It's really, did they really think they were going to get away with it? They obviously did. The power of the fans started with that. F. What does F mean? French the Baby, F. Let me know what you're trying to say. So they didn't get away with it. And ever since, even though they were saying, we're just a bunch of this and that, and the fans, they're just bots, but, they soon changed what they were doing. Once they were losing money, French the Baby, in the DCEU and restore the Snyderverse. It's not going to happen now, is it? Not going to happen. Best thing is that's gone off to Netflix. Army of the Dead, that's the best thing, isn't it? Because the Snyderverse isn't getting restored, is it? So, unfortunately, it was never going to happen. Him and Warner Brothers were never a good fit. The DC, the DC IP, very important. They want to be making top dollar on it, and they don't think that Snyder can make them top dollar on it. It's about money. It's about optics, and unfortunately, that's not going to happen. But we did get the Snyder Cut. It was a great movie, and I think we should definitely be happy. That was a great achievement. And it's going to be interesting to see what they actually do with the DCEU. Very interesting. And Star Wars is under the same quandary. They've started to fix what went wrong. Hopefully the DCEU can start to fix what went wrong. Let's see if it can appeal to the mainstream audience, the diehard DC fans. Zach can still do it on HBO Max, but they don't want him to do it on HBO Max, Sam. That's Sam's own reviews. That's the problem, isn't it? You can only work for a company if a company wants you to work for them. And it's not looking like that's going to happen anytime soon. And that's sad. That's sad. But luckily for Zach, he's a millionaire. He's got a career at Netflix waiting for him, a new franchise. So everything worked out okay in the end. Of course, very tragic what happened to his daughter, something that he will never get over. Who would get over losing a daughter? But these things are sad. But in terms of release the Snyderverse, it looks dead to me. Because we don't hold the power. If they cared about what people thought, then we'd have a chance. And it looks like they're all on the same page over at Warner Brothers as well. French the baby, back to Star Wars. Okay, back to Star Wars. Throw some Star Wars at me. So I think that I think A New Hope and Revenge of the Sith are my favourite Star Wars movies. I don't think there's nothing more emotional in Star Wars than the fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan. French the baby, Bad Batch. Really excited about Bad Batch. It's something, you know, these stem obviously from the Clone Wars and from the animation. It's going to be great. I think people are really going to enjoy it. I must admit, I always kind of felt, though, that the Bad Batch episodes were always kind of middling ones. They had one in the new... What did they have? Did they focus them on the new Clone Wars, if I remember rightly? Let's see. Oh, it's already come out. Is it out today? I haven't seen it yet. Is it on Disney Plus? Is it on Disney Plus today? Because that means... All right, okay. It's... Let's just say Disney Plus isn't in my country, but there's other ways, right? So I shall definitely check that out. Are they gonna? Are they? Oh, you saw it. Quite good. Oh, good, good. It's always good to have a bit of Star Wars because we've got a long wait to. Are we getting any more live action Star Wars this year, or do we have to wait till 2022? I'm not sure about that. Looks like you're the person to ask. I don't. Just because I've got a YouTube channel doesn't mean I know everything. It's funny, people who have YouTube channels normally think they know everything, don't they? Your John Campiers think their opinions are so important. They're not. You just, somehow you've got a lot of followers. You advertised. I don't advertise. December. Oh, Mando season 3 in December. That's going to be awesome. Can't wait. And I reckon Mando season 3 is going Game of Thrones. They're all going to be fighting for that throne, right? Don't ask me names, and you know what they set up at the end. I think definitely, because now Mando's involved in that as well, because he got the thing or whatever the thing was, right? So that means he has to be on the throne or something. Return of Grogu. Yes, that's going to be interesting. Will we see much of Grogu? How is that going to work out? Maybe Grogu escapes from Luke Skywalker and comes back to Mando or something. But they know that they have to have Grogu. They have to have Baby Yoda. I still think he's a reincarnation of Yoda. That's my opinion. So, obviously, he calls himself Grogu. But I just hope he didn't die in the fire. What fire? Didn't he just leave with Luke Skywalker in the end of the Mandalorian finale? Did I miss something? My memory isn't great anyway. Once I've seen something, I forget. Exactly. French the baby. But yeah, very exciting. Very exciting. You know, The Mandalorian is a good show. Exactly. Remember. French the baby. Exactly. Remember. French the baby. Luke talks about the fire. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. And of course, we know that there's something going on in Mando about these Snoke clones as well. They're trying to link in the sequel trilogy with Mando. I think the Mandalorian is going to try and fix the sequel trilogy in a kind of way. So that's going to be an interesting thing to see. There's something going on for sure. And as movie theatres come in and are a thing again, they'll be working on movies. We know Taika Waititi has got a trilogy. That'll be interesting. I'm not sure about him, to be honest, if he can do it. Let's see. His students, they made a place where they would study. And they set it on fire. Of course, yeah, that's right, yeah. So there's a lot to come from the Disney Plus Star Wars franchise. And that's the one to look out for, because Taika Waititi's trilogy is an unknown quantity. And what's going on with Rian Johnson still thinks he's saying he's developing a Star Wars trilogy. You know what? If Johnson actually got his own trilogy from the beginning, I don't think it would have been a problem. But he got involved with someone else's trilogy and then cancelled everything that was done in the first film. It made no sense. Why, Ryan? And then you weren't coming back for the third movie either. How can the people running Lucasfilm allow that to happen? It doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. You know, just crazy, just crazy stuff. So I'm going to go through and see if there's anything going on in any other of geek culture. Please keep on commenting. So normally Screen Rant is a good place to go. So let's see if there's any breaking news before we sign off for today's Big Mouth Daily. I will be back tonight for a live if anyone's interested, all two of you. Let's have a look. Samuel L. Jackson dons a Mace Windu shirt on Instagram in honor of Star Wars Day, which is awesome. Star Wars Bad Batch Season 1 is confirmed to have 16 episodes. That's a lot, isn't it? Marvel Studios' Kevin Feige reveals that originally Doctor Strange created the commercials for WandaVision as a way to infiltrate Wanda's reality. Well, that's very interesting, isn't it? Oh my God, these people are just ridiculous, aren't they? Listen to this. Michelle Rodriguez details how she helped the original Fast and Furious avoid sexism. It was a reality check for them to realize that the streets don't work like that. Yeah, Michelle, rich millionaire Michelle Rodriguez knows exactly how the streets work. You really don't. You really don't. These people just live in a bubble, honestly. Actor Brianna Watkins revealed new details regarding the cut alternate endings of The Predator, in which she portrayed aliens Newt and Ripley. Wow. And the CW, of course, DC, which is my normal premise, has already renewed DC's Stargirl for season 3, months ahead of its season 2 premiere. Wow. So Jeff Johns is doing very, very well with that, isn't he? Composer Danny Elfman is terribly unhappy with his final score for 1989's Batman, thanks to how it was handled by sound professionals. All you hear are some percussion hints in big moments, but you can't really hear what the orchestra is doing. Look, Danny, it's a great score. Don't. I know you're a perfectionist, but it's a great score. It's classic, isn't it? Batman prequel Pennyworth, which began airing on Epix, is eyeing a move to HBO Max for its upcoming third season. No surprise there. That's a very, very good show, isn't it? And yeah, there's not really much going on in the world of geek right now. There's actually, a lack of big news. I know we had the Green Lantern Corps thing the other day, but in terms of DC as well, we had that Marvel sizzle reel yesterday, which was exciting with hints of the Fantastic Four. Got to go, have an important call. Okay, see you later, French the Baby. Thanks for being involved in the stream. Very nice of you. Join back when I can. Okay then, see you later. So if we go back to the DCEU, because I think this is very, very important. I was speaking about what films will be deleted and what movies they'll keep. And I predicted, didn't I, that Man of Steel, maybe the first Suicide Squad, I don't know about that one, Wonder Woman, Shazam, and Aquaman will definitely not be deleted. I think they will delete BVS because that's a problem to them. They don't have to delete Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut because, as Zack's already told us, that never was canon. And I think they're going to delete Justice League. I think they're going to do a thing where they can have their own first Justice League movie with their own new Justice League team. I think that's something that I'd look forward to because it doesn't matter how much you or I love the Snyderverse. If we need to move forward, we need, I think it is important that all DC fans can be a part of this and not just people who like the Snyderverse. And, because that is quite selfish, isn't it? So I think this is what they're attempting to do. And as I've already said, if they're able to do that, it will be a great achievement. Let's see what the plan is. Let's see what we're going to do going forward. Just remember, I will be back tonight for tonight's stream where we'll be talking about everything and anything. You never know, something may drop. So thanks for attending. I will be back tonight. Thanks for being involved in this stream, the 2 or 3 or 5 people that were. So comment down below, like, share and subscribe. And remember to tell your friends about me. You never know. This could end up being something huge. And you discovered me and helped me. Imagine that. You'll be screaming for royalties. See you tonight. Bye-bye then. I'll be back tomorrow with another Big Mouth Daily, and I'll be back tonight with a live stream, don't forget, around 8 o'clock Cyprus time, 8 o'clock Cyprus time, 6 o'clock UK time, and the other times, I haven't got a clue. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye for now.